They say history is written by those who survived, but sometimes the dead return to rewrite it themselves. It started deep in the Egyptian desert, in a region untouched by modern hands for thousands of years. A team of archaeologists, led by Dr. Ellis Moreau, wasn't looking for mummies. They were searching for ancient tools, until their radar picked up something far stranger. Buried under 60 feet of rock and sand was a chamber, perfectly symmetrical, carved with precision no ancient craftsman should have been capable of. The readings were strange, too geometric, too perfect, and according to carbon scans, the chamber walls were thousands of years younger than the artifacts buried above them. It didn't make sense. They were standing in a tomb that existed before the tombs built on top of it. When they finally opened the stone seal, what they found inside changed everything. A coffin enormous, twice the size of any known sarcophagus. It was smooth, metallic-looking, not carved from the limestone typical of ancient Egypt. But when they brushed off the sand, they found something shocking engraved into it, hieroglyphs that didn't belong to any known Egyptian period. Some looked newer, as if carved with modern tools. Others seemed far older than the pyramids themselves. When they opened the sarcophagus, a cold gust of air hit their faces. Inside lay a mummy, but not like any they had seen before. This body was nearly 10 feet long, perfectly preserved, skin leathery but intact. The hands were abnormally large, and the skull elongated, slightly misshapen. It was wrapped in a fabric that carbon dated to around 800 BC, but the tools and inscriptions in the same chamber were from 2500 BC, more than 1,700 years apart. Something was very, very wrong. At first, the team thought it was a hoax, a modern forgery, but when they tested the wrappings, they found traces of resins that matched authentic mummification compounds from ancient dynasties. It was real, yet somehow this mummy didn't fit anywhere in the timeline. Not in the Old Kingdom, not in the New. Simply didn't belong. Dr. Moreau called it the mummy that shouldn't exist. For weeks, the mummy was kept under strict observation. In a Cairo research lab, the team noticed strange magnetic readings around it. Compasses malfunctioned when brought near the coffin. Electronic devices flickered. Even metal tools vibrated slightly when laid near its head. And then, one night, security footage captured something chilling. At precisely 3:07 a.m., the mummy's jaw moved. Tiny shift. Its mouth opened just a few millimeters. No one believed it at first, until the motion sensor alarm went off again and again. Every night, same time, they tried temperature sensors. Each time, the readings spiked sharply at 3:07 a.m., as if something inside that ancient body still held energy. When word leaked to the press, the Egyptian Antiquities Bureau ordered the site sealed, and the mummy relocated to a government vault. Officially, they called it the unknown specimen of the Western Valley. Unofficially, it became known as the Time Mummy. Soon after, independent researchers began digging deeper. Some claimed the fabric used in its wrappings contained traces of synthetic fibers, something that shouldn't have existed until the 20th century. Others found that the inscriptions on the tomb walls referenced stars and constellations, visible only in the future, not in the skies of 2500 BC. How could that be? One symbol translated roughly to returned from the horizon of Ra, bearer of forgotten time. Another one mentioned a circle of light that brought him back. Was it a myth, prophecy, or something more? By 2022, the mummy had become the subject of global controversy. Some scientists claimed it was a hybrid, a genetic anomaly between human and something unknown. Others dismissed it as a clever mix of older and newer remains, stitched together by grave robbers centuries ago. But one thing remained undeniable. Its presence defied all known history. When the sarcophagus was scanned using ground-penetrating radar, it revealed that the inner walls were lined with a metallic compound resembling tungsten, a material only discovered in the modern industrial age. And inside the chest cavity, they found a small object, a perfectly circular metal disc, no bigger than a coin, etched with microscopic patterns no ancient tool could have created. One of the researchers, Dr. Samira Kadir, ran the object under an electron microscope. Her results left her speechless. The patterns resembled binary code, on an artifact buried thousands of years before binary even existed. She said quietly, "This shouldn't exist. Not now, not then, not ever." But after she made that statement, she disappeared. Her files were deleted, and the artifact was never mentioned again. The Egyptian authorities released an official statement. The mummy was misdated. All anomalies are the result of contamination. But those who worked on the site knew it wasn't that simple. One anonymous source leaked that the mummy's DNA showed markers unseen in any known human genome. Almost human, but not quite. The story was buried, literally and politically. But 1 year later, a former security guard who worked in that same facility uploaded a photo online. It showed the mummy standing upright in a sealed case, and across its chest, faint marks, almost like burns shaped like lightning. The photo vanished within hours. His account was deleted. But once again, whispers spread. The mummy wasn't dead. What if the ancient Egyptians didn't just worship their gods? What if they encountered them? What if the so-called tomb wasn't a burial chamber, but a vault, a containment unit, for something that wasn't meant to wake? The hieroglyphs spoke of a traveler through light, a being who crossed the river of time. If true, it means this mummy wasn't from our past. It was from our future. Maybe that's why it doesn't fit, why its DNA, materials, and artifacts all belong to different eras. Maybe it didn't die thousands of years ago. Maybe it hasn't died yet. They say history repeats itself. But what if sometimes it bleeds through time itself? The desert still holds its silence. The tomb is sealed once again, and deep within it, the mummy lies still, its mouth slightly open, as if waiting to scream again.